suppose it's like every other country. There are good people, there are people who are perhaps not quite so good. I've known many very generous Americans.
Finally, somebody with a good, positive comment. Sheesh. Like, listening to these comments actually hurt my soul, bro. Like, literally. Like, I don't think anybody in America would speak negatively of anybody from Britain, or speak badly about Europe like this. Like, but for some reason, like, because we have major differences, we get spoken about like that horrible, like violence, Trump, guns. Like, Trump's not even the worst guy in the world, bro. Like, what? I'm pretty sure we could scour through history and be jerks. And you know what? Let me not get into that, because why were you trying to be so harsh? Like, dang. Hey guys, welcome back to Foreign Reacts. We're going to be doing a nice little chill video today. What British people think of America. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So Foreign Reacts, we do foreign reactions. Anything that is foreign to the reactor. So please do subscribe and join the family here at Foreign Reacts, as we're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers for this month. So which is February. So please do subscribe and help us to achieve that milestone. But either ways, guys, we're going to be checking out this video, what British people think of America. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Okay, what comes to your mind when I say America?
Trump, guns, violence.
In terms of...
She ain't wrong. She ain't wrong.
America, I know everybody criticises Donald Trump, but he is the elected leader. And if you're a supporter of democracy, well, they've chosen him. And I know he's supporting Israel, so I suppose there's that element of it which isn't very helpful.
When you say America, I think Trump, and I don't like Trump.
I say a country with so much potential, but...
What do you mean so much potential? What you mean? I know we great already, but what you mean? What you mean now, huh? Y'all be disrespectful over there. Y'all disrespectful.
So corrupt that it's an underwhelming country.
Third world country in a Gucci belt, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anti-vax.
Wow. 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 The insults. Wow.
I think of people not wanting to wear face
Anti-vaxxers? Seriously? Gosh.
masks. Their liberty comes first, their individual right to do whatever they want trumps everything else at the expense of the greater good. It's irresponsible.
Even the reporter, she's laughing, she's smiling, she's giggling. I hate this video.
Not a fan.
I have quite strong opinions on America.
Are you surprised?
I mean, more recently, given the current administration, my opinion of America is right down there. I have been to America a few times. I've lived there as well. It's a very interesting country in some ways. To me, it's like an adolescent flexing its muscles and trying to pretend it's bigger than it is, interfering in other people's countries, etc., etc.
It's a bit of a cliche,
Wow.
but I
Wow, bro, but I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
suppose it's like every other country. There are good people, there are people who are perhaps not quite so good. I've known many very generous Americans.
Finally, somebody with a good, positive comment. Sheesh. Like, listening to these comments actually hurt my soul, bro. Like, literally. Like, I don't think anybody in America would speak negatively of anybody from Britain, or speak badly about Europe like this. Like, but for some reason, like, because we have major differences, we get spoken about like that horrible, like violence, Trump, guns. Like, Trump's not even the worst guy in the world, bro. Like, what? I'm pretty sure we could scour through history and be jerks. And you know what? Let me not get into that, because why were you trying to be so harsh? Like, dang.
Craziness.
Oh, really?
Madness, craziness.
I go over a couple of times a year. My friends live in Houston. I do love the country, but I wouldn't want to live there. Yeah.
Why not?
No. You go from state to state. Laws are different. Sometimes
because it's state to state. It's not really a state. It's really like a whole country, but it's just governed. Like somebody was saying to me in my European Union video, America is the same thing, like the European Union, which they were kind of right, but it's just that I don't understand the European Union compared to America. State to state, yes, you have different laws and all of that kind of stuff, different tax rate. Yeah, you do have the differences because it's practically a whole different set of places. Just like Alaska was sold to America from Russia, stuff like that, right? And that's what people don't really get when they come to America. Coming to America is like being in Europe and actually going to different places in Europe. So I'm from Finland, I go to Denmark, I go to Estonia, Swiss. That's what America is, right? It's just that it's one place. Just like Mexico, if Mexico and America were supposed to go to war, and America takes away everything from Mexico, and Mexico is now part of America. It's a big old place, but it was a country. America started with Delaware, bro. So you know what I mean?
Different. No, I wouldn't want to stay there now. I think it's quite a dangerous place to live these days, especially.
Yeah, there is a lot of things like happening, political things. There's two parts of America. Like I think they're not like a unique country.
I think America has always been the kind of country that online, oh, it's the amazing, this best country ever. But when actually you see the facts, it's like, oh, there are more troubles, you know.
America's freedom, but I think there's also a lot of discriminations, especially if you're colored. It's quite normal if you came to a foreign country, you would experience these things, but I think America is, you know, they have the worst experience. I think here in the UK it's more calmed down.
I don't want to give any opinion about it. So.
Obviously with them being a bigger country and they take more prominence on the world stage, so I think when we're talking about masks and the ideologies around wearing them, the news is quicker to pick up on dissent, and I think people have been getting quite a hard rap with regard to adjusting to the lockdown measures in the US or here in the UK, wearing masks being mandated. It takes a time to adjust to those, and I think nobody's being given the leeway to set up the behaviours to adjust to that and then to enact them. So for example, again, my PhD is in behavioural science. I think when people are having to set up a new set of practices, no one's being given the time to allow them to learn how to do that, to wear a mask consistently. When people in Florida are having open town hall meetings and talking about their personal liberties and how mandating masks goes against them, it does a disservice to us as people when we're having to learn a lot in this kind of new world that we exist in. So I think America kind of serves as kind of what not to do sometimes, especially when it comes from messages from the top down.
I find it rather a bossy place. Maybe that's just New York, I don't know. You know, walk, don't walk. You know, stand behind the line. Why have you come to America?
Yeah. How do they interrogate you at the immigration?
Yeah, that's right. But on the whole, I just don't think about it. Made their bed, they can lie in it.
What is your opinion of America? What comes to your mind?
Well, I love America because I am half American.
Do you go there quite often?
I try. I mean, recently I've been there two, 3 times a year. I'm just very interested in the history of America. It fascinates me. I mean, I'm not going to talk politically because there is so much going on. I don't live in America, so I mean, we all have our views on certain topics. I do feel they're not treating the whole COVID-19 situation very seriously. I'm sure they are, but they don't appear to be. You know, it comes across that they're not.
It's very easy to become Americanized. That kind of grates on me a little bit. Currently, I think that the whole Black Lives Matter issue, its time has come, and I'm very happy about that. And I wish them all the luck in getting as far as they can in their bid for equality. And of course we need that here as well, but I don't think it's as bad as it is in the US.
Well, interestingly, I was on a study exchange there in Washington, D.C. for the year and had to quickly fly back when everything kind of kicked off. I think that it's important that we remember that the issues that we see in America are reflected here. It's not in a bubble over there, you know, essentially the issues are expressed differently, but I don't think that they are non-existent here. I think it's important that we remember that and that we acknowledge the role that our country's played in that, and that we recognise our faults and that everybody keeps educating themselves.
Right.
America is so incredibly diverse. There's lots of benefits to it. I have some really good friends who are Americans, and like, you know, they're not part of that minority, I guess it would be.
I think it's a bit of a mess as well.
Country, but I guess it's the wrong guy in charge of it. The presidency seems to just be on sound bites and very little detail, and I do think that probably America's standing in the world is diminished because of him. If he is the example or the figurehead of that country, how can it be a great country?
With America, in terms of like lockdown, I'm glad I'm not there because they have so many of those anti-lockdown protests as well that kicked off before the BLM protests. It's just frightening, and we don't have that to the same scale here, so I feel lucky that I'm not there. I have a lot of family there who are like very concerned about it, as I would be. So yeah, not great, I don't think.